konnichiwa. Or, Oresaka Tech 99. That's. No, I'm just fucking with you. Not really, bro. I speak English. Sure, but I got a couple people. Haven't made a video in quite some time, and I'm probably not in frame. And I know my quality went down slightly because I'm using different equipment. Because you always gotta test different equipment, okay? So, as the title states, I'm making an argument for 20 round magazines. This is a 20 round magazine, the AR, and this is a 21 round magazine for the AK-47. So what's my argument on these? Well, let me just get a couple things clear. These aren't good in most scenarios. As we've learned from Vietnam, you want 30 round magazines because those actually perform the best. In some cases, you might want to carry 40 round magazines just because you have an extra edge against people. But really, since everything is standardized to 30 rounds, you want 30 round magazines because it makes your life a whole lot easier. Especially when it comes to having those 40 round AK and AR mags. I feel like it gets like too big and you can't carry two of them in one pouch. But anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. So the reason why I like having a couple 20 round magazines around the house, whatever, is because of 3, 4, 5-ish type of reasons. For starters, this one is, I guess I would say, like, sorry, I'm gonna do it. I have to address myself. When you're on a platform like YouTube, YouTube doesn't like anything more than 20 round magazines. So it's kind of like I really can't come up with the word right now, but basically honorable mention. Honorable mention, honorable reason, YouTube doesn't like 30 round magazines. And if you're trying to be a creator for gun content and you're trying to make money with gun content, you gotta play by the rules. I know it sucks, but maybe once you're like the other big gun tubers, you have your own businesses going, you have a bunch of fans, maybe you can be crazy with YouTube. Okay, so the first real reason is close quarters combat scenarios. So let's just say you're going through houses, like an urban city, right? You're going in between houses, whatever, and you have like a 10-5 PVW or something like that, right? If you're trying to move around, right, having a big rifle is pretty bad. And yes, you could have a small rifle and 30 round mags, but to keep it more flush, you could go with the smaller magazine. Now, you could use the argument, oh, then why not use a 10 round magazine? Or why not use a 5 round magazine? Yes, sure, you could make that argument, and my argument would be better in that sort of scenario for it being more fleshed, but you also want to have a little bit of firepower. You don't want too much firepower because, when it comes to moving around, you won't be able to move around as much when you have a lot of 30 round magazines on you. The second, being fast. So listen, if you're going on a night build, right, and you're hunting, you're scavenging, and you're by yourself, do you really want your enemy to get 30 round magazines off of you? Probably not, but if you need to move fast, having a lot less rounds on you would be good. Yes, you could use the argument, instead of having 3 or 4 20 round magazines, why not have 2 or 3 30 round magazines? Well, I guess you would technically only carry 2 in that scenario. But still, that's not my best argument out of the thing, but yes, I still believe that if you have 20 round magazines, you're going to be faster. Third, I would have to say, this is probably one of my best arguments. Well, let's just say there's someone, you need to do a job, right, with a firearm, and they've never used a firearm before. Or let's just say, end of the world scenario, you told these people to go grab other materials, Do you want to give them 30 round, 40 round magazines? Some AK, not AK drums. I'm holding an AK, so that's why I said it. But do you want to give them drums? No. Okay? You probably want to give them a little bit more power than just 10 rounds, right? But I don't want to give people my 30 round magazines, especially 30 rounds of ammo. If I give some scout or whatever, some freaking, or some cannon fodder, some 30 round magazines, I wouldn't like it too much. I would say my fourth type of reasoning why you would want a 20 round magazine would have to be the ammo. So, as you know, ammo comes in 20 round boxes for rifle calibers, usually, right? If you go to a store, you get 5.56, it'll be in 20 round boxes. Like that's a standardized. So if you're like me, right, and you want to have as much ammo in magazines as possible, do you know how annoying it is to have 10, 20 rounds just laying around in the house? It's freaking annoying. And yes, you can always have like an ammo stockpile. But if you're me, right, I kind of have like a prepper mindset where I'm helping others gather materials as well. So I would much rather have 8 full magazines that are 20 rounds than 5 full 30 rounds and what the rest are like 10, 20, 15, whatever combination. I know you could put some in the 10 and 15 into the 20 or whatever, but my point is if you like to have your resources in one pile and you don't like having a flood of extras, boom, there you go. One of my wicker arguments, I get it. Okay. The fifth one, which is more of an honorable mention as well, because this is really not that good, a retro look. I mean, if you're going with a retro look or a retro loadout that you give to like someone who was in Vietnam or something like that, giving your old Gramps a 30 round magazine setup with like 4 or 5 or whatever, not the best. He's probably used to 20 anyways. So, my arguments aren't that good, but I believe in the whole entire concept of every tool has its purpose. Yes, in warfare, you could use the fire lance. I forget what it's called in Chinese, but you could use the fire lance. Even till this day, it has a specific role you could use in combat, in warfare. Would I personally use it? No way in hell. Okay? People who use the arguments and, oh, why not bring a sword to a gunfight? Oh, and you should just always have 30 round magazines. Listen, everything has its purpose. If you're asking me, personally, I'm going to get some more 20 round magazines for a night loadout kit, right? Like a BTW scenario. Or, of course, I would have 1 or 2 30 round magazines. But I want to be light. I want to be fast. I want to be going in between buildings and whatnot. Or maybe I'm going to go through the woods and I'm going to get up close to the enemy. Because I have nods, not really. In this scenario, I would have nods, but my enemy would not have nods. Night, octo device, that sort of stuff. So, please make response videos. You can make it as a collab. I want to hear other people's opinion, especially their arguments that are for my case. Now, of course, I'm open to the arguments against my case, right? But I'm probably going to get 99% arguments against my case in maybe 2 or 3 videos that have arguments that back up my case. So I literally just am doing this type of video for fun and for research for a book that I am making. But I do believe 20 round magazines have their purpose, and I'm definitely going to be using them for those specific purposes. This was filmed on an A14 Samsung Galaxy A14. Why did I even mix the freaking words around? How good was it? Probably going to use it for a couple of my videos.